That's right. Your boy's off. It's Thursday. Your boy's off, and I took off just to make this video. Psych! We're here. I had to wait actually today's up because I had to sit here around all day to get some gladiator cabinets, and the only reason I'm here is because they had to be signed for. It didn't make sense in between the hour window to take half of a day, so I'm here making the videos for you guys. So enjoy, and yeah. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy SAG, aka SAG. Today I'm bringing you a hanging with SAG video. Today we got a couple things to talk about. Nothing too important, but things just going on around the community and area around me that affect me and possibly you guys. As you guys may or may not have heard in a couple videos, I'm not really sharing too much of my personal life with this, but we're doing things around the house to create a different dynamic for the betterment of ourselves and everything around us. So we moved, as I said earlier, we moved the office from the office and we got a new monitor, PlayStation in. And what sucked was we had to call Comcast out to completely rewire the whole thing because I had the modem in with the office, everything was working great. Moved it to the bedroom and everything kind of went kaput. So we got them out. They rewired the modem into the bedroom and everything's working fine except our Ring cameras and also our Digital Life, which is our security system around here. We are actually going to have to find a way to hardwire our booster, our 200 Mbps booster, somehow to the modem. So that's going to be fun. That's manly project number one. Don't know anything about that. Don't know anything about hardwiring and rewiring things. I'm not a handy kind of guy. That's why you guys watch me, right? I mean, I'm funny, I'm goofy, but I don't do much around here that's what they would call handyman accessible. Maybe you have or haven't noticed, your boy's got a fresh cut. And I think I've gotten a progressive dad look going on. Funny story about the haircut. I've never had my haircut like this before. If you haven't noticed, it's kind of parted to the side. I have had it spiked up in the past, but everything's kind of parted to the side. And I figured, why not give it a shot? Because it's kind of like the dad look going on. Your boy's not getting any younger at this point in time. But the funny story about this is, brand new place opened up. It is the second location of the place that I go to. So I figured it's closer, it's brand new. Why not give it a shot? So I walk in and they give me a 10 o'clock appointment very early in the morning. This guy pulls me in the back. I tell him I want 2 on the sides, finger length up top. And you've asked me, I've had this before, they've asked me, do you want scissors or do you want the clippers? And usually I say scissors, but even in the past, people have talked me out of it because they're like, oh, it's going to give you the same look. It's just faster, it's, you know, whatever. To me personally, with a finger clip with a little bit longer than finger length, you don't get the perfect length every time, and it's the imperfections that make things awesome. As I was talking to the guy, he's sitting here, and he looks at me, he's like, yo, let me tell you something, brother. I'm glad to be here. And I'm like, oh yeah? Why is that? Like, what's going on here? He said, oh, you know, yesterday I was sick as a dog. I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe he had like a stomach virus or something. Maybe he just didn't feel up to like coming in. He's like, no. He's like, I was sitting here coughing up a I was like, yo, what? He's like, yeah, I couldn't breathe. I was having trouble breathing. I was coughing up a storm. I just don't feel good. I had the sweats. I still got the sweats. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yo, why is this guy cutting my hair? What is this guy doing cutting my hair? But in all reality, I mean, he was a cool dude. I made sure to take a shower right afterwards, like hot shower, scalding everything that he touched. That's kind of messed up that you come to work sick, and then especially when you talk to people and you touch their face and hair area, that's like one of the worst things that you could do. That's like a doctor coming in sick. They don't do it. I'm going to use that to transition to the second point of topic here and talking about the coronavirus. Now, if you mention the coronavirus in YouTube videos, it automatically gets demonetized. Joke's on you, YouTube. I don't get paid for this anyway, so what's the problem? This new strain of the flu. It's a strain of the flu, from what I'm gathered. I'm not an expert on the topic. It is believed to be derived from the eating of feral birds, aka bats and other birds that do not get usually ate. And I understand if you're like in a different parts of the world, different areas, and maybe you have an even like rural area where you don't get the normal amount and you have to make up for it. I get it, but bats? You're not Ozzy Osbourne. Coronavirus has been a plague to actually a lot of countries in the world. I mean, there's been cases found throughout countries, and the biggest impact it's had though was in its original city of Wuhan, China, and the fact that they had to quarantine an entire city of 11 million people, something bigger than New York City. And to me, New York is huge because I mean, I'm from a small town. I live in a somewhat populated area now, but 11 million people being quarantined, yo, that's some real life. Like 28 days later, and I'm not saying this like to be disrespectful to the people affected, because I found that horrible as an adult, as a person in general, not as an adult, but as a person. You should find that horrible, because the fact is that so many people that just live in the town itself, not only is it 11 million people directly affected by this, but it's also the people who are indirectly affected by this that kind of sucks. And there were close calls in a couple of schools near me. There's been cases in the airport. I mean, I'm just terrified to travel. I'm terrified of huge crowds. Not that I live life scared, but I just don't do the whole crowd stuff. That's just not me. I'm a big guy, and as you guys know, big guys take up a lot of room. I like my space. And I can only imagine like a place like an epicenter, like a very well traveled airline or airport, just being the epicenter of just disease spreading everywhere, and that kind of sucks. I've seen way too many scary movies to that. And speaking of which, my shirt literally says, "If a zombie starts to chase us, I'm tripping you." Nothing personal. And talking about self-preservation, but it's a joke, but at the same time, like, think about us as humans. We are inherently selfish as a group. What we want is what we want, and we don't really think of the consequences for the most part of things that could go bad. The one thing that I really hate to bring up about this is the mass hysteria that the coronavirus has given us. And the fact is, what really irritates me more than anything that I've seen about this is not the fact that, so many people are affected. It's the fact that people are playing pranks based off of this disease that has killed people. There's a time and place, and bad timing jokes, yeah, whatever, we get it. But at the same time, I'm talking specifically about the guy, the quote unquote SoundCloud rapper, who is like 21 or 22 or something. And the fact that he got on a plane, I think they were traveling to Jamaica, and he got on and he said, "Oh, I was in Wuhan a little bit ago. I'm not feeling too well." And he starts coughing. The airline took into that all the information he gave them, and they put in a protocol to stop the spread of that disease. And not only did those people not get to their destination, they stopped and had to go back. And I don't know if the airline's covering their costs or not, but I wouldn't think that something like that's covered by the airline. Even if it was, you had a vacation plan, and all these people are suffering because you're being a dickhead. That's not cool. I had a couple of students at my school that I teach at, a couple of 8th graders, start wearing masks. And my thing is this, and I told the students this as well. I don't mind if they're worried. If their parents are worried and told them to wear it, that's fine. But if you wear a mask like that to a middle school, especially like if you're an older student, like in 8th grade, you know what you're doing. You're spreading hysteria in the hallways, and people see you in a mask, and they see that's the only thing they focus on. And our school has kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. And on our side of the school, supposedly it's only supposed to be middle school. But think about the 6th graders and how they're still at a mindset of a younger kid. And the fact that they go home and they talk to their parents, and what's the only thing they bring up during that time? "Oh, well, I don't know what happened in school today, Mom, but I did see that kid in a medical mask, and we think that it's the coronavirus." That's not okay. To spread mass panic, that's not okay. luckily for me, I was able to talk to the students who were actually doing this. They agreed that they were just doing it to get a rise out of people. I mean, they understood and they were a little bit worried about the disease, but at the same time, they took the mask off for us and were able to go throughout the day without spreading any more panic. So kudos for that. As you guys can see, I'm trying my hardest this week. This is Friday going up. I'm trying my hardest to get those 3 videos a week. Last week, did a horrible job. I got 1 out. 1. What sucks, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm going to do my best to kind of spread out everything for me. What sucks is I'm actually starting another class. I had my teaching certificate, teaching license given to me after graduating from the education program of the college I was enrolled at. I was immediately flagged for having an ESOL student or an ELL student. For you guys that don't know that, ELL is English as a second language. So basically you have to take a class to ensure that you are offering all students, regardless of age, race, ethnicity, language barriers, any abilities. The fact of the matter is you're making the school equitable for all these students. And notice how I didn't say equal, I said equitable, which is on all levels. It is a 16-week period that I have to do it. It's going to finish up in April. And I'm going to be done for a little bit, which is awesome, but at the same time, it sucks because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I'm going to have to balance that on top of teaching, on top of work, on top of life, to kind of find a nice little niche where I can get everything in. And if something overrules this, it overrules it. You have to be understandable. And you guys are pretty cool with that. I appreciate you guys that have been supporting me throughout the years. Speaking about support, you guys already know that I play with my boy Rob and also Chomp, and we basically been hanging out for the last, 4 months straight, every day almost, every day that we're online. And it's gotten to the point now where Rob's getting a little bit irritated with us, and a little bit about Rob is he's a very cool guy, very awesome, but he doesn't do a lot of movies, and whereas I'm the exact opposite. I watch a ton of TV, a ton of videos, a ton of movies, and we have just movie quotes for days. And it literally takes up about, I'd say, maybe a third of our whole conversation when we're in a party chat. We've gotten to the point now where Chomp and I have singled out Rob when he has to go do stuff, and we're basically, because he's a responsible adult out of us. I mean, not to say I'm not responsible, not to say any of us are not responsible, but out of all of us, Rob is very consistent with his responsibilities. And he gets off at 10 o'clock no matter what. The fact of the matter is, it's getting to the point now where we're giving him a hard time because 10 o'clock hits, and he's like, all right, guys, I'm out. And we're like, no, to the point where we're basically going into making a whole skit with, we're basically his mom. And so when he goes out, we're like, Rob, have you gotten off the TV yet? And to the point where we're sitting there, and you all have friends that you make fun of. We all have friends that we give a hard time to. And Rob's that one friend right now, whereas listen, Rob and Chump had gotten together and gave me a hard time, but the fact is that we've kind of taken a little bit of issue with him going off, and it is what it is, and we're all having fun with it. And a couple of things that have happened this week. Number one, my wife's birthday was over not this week, but last week. And she didn't, when you get older, you guys that watch these videos, you'll understand this. When you start to get older, there's only certain things that you want and certain things that you do. We don't do this huge birthday celebration. Nothing against the adults that do this, nothing against kids that do this. But that's just not who we are. We like to hang out. We were supposed to do a game night. It kind of just turned into a dinner. We went to this grilled cheese place. Funny story, my wife picked that out weeks in advance. She wanted to go here. We all meet up with the two other couples that were joining us. We get there and the place looks closed. So we get to this place and it looks closed. It is dead inside. There's no lights, there's no anything, no people. And so my wife gets on Facebook and she's like, hey, you guys open? What's going on? And supposedly they had a little grease problem with the drainage and stuff. And I mean, with grilled cheese, having grease drainage, you can't have that at a restaurant. they were nice enough to say, "Oh, well, we'll be back at 7." Well, we were already there, and it was only like 5:45, 6 o'clock. And my wife said, "Oh, this kind of sucks because I was really wanting to go here for my birthday." So what the manager did at the time said, "Hey, we got you. We'll be open at 6:30. Bring your friends and family here, and we'll whip you up something." 6:30 comes around, and they kept their word. They were up, ready to go. We killed it. We went in there. We got our stuff. People came in behind us, got their stuff, and it's a little bit of a snooty place. I mean, the grilled cheese gallery. I mean, I know what you're saying, SAG. What can you really do with grilled cheese? But don't knock it until you try it. I will listen. My sandwich, it wasn't just grilled cheese. It was a couple of things. The first time around, it had pork belly and stuff like that on it. I was like, yo, I don't know about this, but I gotta try it. It killed it. It kicked it out of the park. And when I saw that, I was like, this is crazy. With that said, I was like, maybe $9 for a grilled cheese isn't that bad. And it came with a chipotle dipper. It came with some tomato soup dippers, and they just listen. They killed it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, your boy's a foodie. Your boy loves to eat, and they knocked it out of the park. I mean, look at me. Do I look like I put away some food? I know what I'm talking about. Okay. We got that. We were supposed to go home. We were supposed to go to our friend's house and play some games. We got to the point where we were just adults and we couldn't do it. It got too late. So it is what it is. Your boy's starting to get older. We're starting to. We can't just stay out till 1, 2, or 3 o'clock. Not that we do that anyway, but we can't do it. So being an adult, I asked my wife because she didn't really get anything for her birthday. Not that I'm a bad husband. I just don't know what to get her. I wanted her to be happy with the gift instead of having to return it and feel bad for returning it and all that stuff. So I asked her, I was like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? What would you like us to do? And she's like, well, maybe we can get a nice little dinner next week to kind of combine that with Valentine's Day. Right now, all I want is that the office turns into our nursery. I said, okay, cool. This past weekend, even though I hate cleaning, and it's not that our house is like horrible, but I just hate cleaning. It's annoying to me because as a kid, I grew up every weekend, every Saturday, I started my day off cleaning, and it sucked. But it's something you have to do, and I'm starting to respect and realize that. But I was able to, with help, get the dresser made. White thing that we have in there that's supposed to be a bookshelf we didn't do the measurements properly, so now it's having to go upstairs to the upstairs bedroom. And so all this stuff is culminating, but the fact of the matter is that my wife is so simple and my wife is so awesome that she just wants, I don't have to go out and impress her. I don't have to bend backwards to help her or anything like that. The fact is, my wife is just such an awesome person that she just is so caring, so loving, and that she doesn't even need anything to make her happy. She just wants this stuff to get cleaned up and worked on. What more can you ask for? Being that way, and then, we're starting the nursery, I went ahead and placed a reservation online for her favorite restaurant, which is the Melting Pot. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's a fondue restaurant that's kind of nice, and she loves it. So I didn't, and I like it too, but it was more for her than it was for me, and I wanted to kind of do something nice for her. What sucked was that night before it was a Tuesday night, and we had reservations on Wednesday. Our dog, our smallest puppy, Raisin, she has seizures sometimes, and she hasn't had one for over 2 months. And that night I was in bed and I feel something like her panting, and she gets under the covers sometimes, so I thought she was panting. I uncovered her. She's having another seizure. It wasn't anything too bad. We get peanut butter. She snaps out of it. We make sure that she's okay, but it kind of worries us a couple days afterwards just to make sure her life is going better. She's not getting too excited. And so we had to cancel our reservations on Wednesday, and we ate here. Well, we ate out, but I brought it back, and it kind of sucked that we weren't able to go out, but at the same time, I understood why she said no. We were more worried about our little dog than anything. So, lastly, football is back. You don't have to wait another year for football. We have the XFL coming back, and this isn't like the original XFL back when McMahon, back in 2000s, signed up for it and wanted to compete with the NFL, and He Hate Me is no longer the spokesperson, which I'm pretty sure He Hate Me turned out to be a safety or cornerback in the NFL for a while. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. This new XFL this past weekend, what I would say, if it was me, and I don't know anything about it, but I would say as a person onlooking this whole thing, I would say it was a success. The fact is that they're not trying to overcomplicate something. They're just trying to make a few changes. There's two things with this. Number one, you have something that allows athletes, maybe not the most popular athletes, you have something for athletes to go along with. I know what you're saying, SAG, there's Canadian football, there's blah, 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 there's blah, blah. Well, no. There used to be NFL Europe, and I actually used to watch those games. It was really cool to see the difference in people over at Germany, and I think one was in Berlin. I think one was in, I can't even remember. It's been so long. But it was really cool to see all those things, and people, it's like the G League for the NBA. And I know up north they have Canadian football, and it's a little bit different from that. And this is just another way that players can try progress themselves into the NFL one way or another. Maybe you didn't get drafted, maybe you've had to work at it, but this allows you to keep working at it at a pretty high level. I mean, these guys, it's not like they went out and got old high school athletes. Like Uncle Rico isn't throwing a football at someone anytime soon. Cardell Jones, that was the biggest name that I saw, and I know there's more people than Cardell Jones, but the AAF, it faltered, it died. The American and something football, I don't know. Anyway, it faltered and died, and it was like the only other thing going on at this time. So now we have something else that it could work. It could be awesome. What's weird is the commissioner is Andrew Luck's dad. And I know that he's got a lot of business savvy to him. I know that he's a very intelligent guy, and I'm not faulting the NFL, but Roger Goodell, watch your back, because if old Papa Luck does well, he's moving on up. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you're having a great night, a great week, a great month, a great year, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.